All right, guys. Hey, how's it going? This is Matt.
I'm Freddie.
And
And
I'm
you're
Larry.
watching. This is Larry. You're watching This and That with Freddie
And Matt. And
yeah.
Larry.
So we're introducing and Larry. We're introducing
Right.
each other. So anyway, hey guys. For folks that may or may not know, this is Larry Tarnowski, and he played on a couple of records with me back in the day, and in my Iced Earth time, and we did some tours, and he was actually on probably one of the well, I would say probably one of the more famous, without tooting our own horn, I guess, one of the more famous live records, and certainly the only live record that I've ever been on, I think. But well, we've done some video stuff, but record-wise, but Alive in Athens. So there's that. So you got that going for you, man.
Yeah, I was on a couple of them. We did Something Wicked, and then Alive in Athens, Horror Show, the Tribute to the Gods, and there's an EP, Melancholy EP, as well.
Yeah, you get a little credit on all those. So that's and hey man, it's I think a lot of people still go, wow, man, you're playing on those records was really phenomenal. And what a lot of folks don't understand is that when you first started out with Iced Earth, you were a very, very young man.
Yeah, I think it was 19 or 20. I remember when we were touring the States, I couldn't even get into half of the clubs we were supposed to be playing at. So I'd have to be like snuck in through the back.
Yeah. We don't quiet about that. We don't know if the statute of limitations isn't up yet. So
I think, like once I got in, I wasn't able to leave and come back in. So I just had to stay inside the club.
Yeah, I think it was something that we worked out with the promoters or whatever. But yeah, you couldn't go like hang around the bar areas at all. You had to just stand by your amp the entire time.
I did.
And it was kind of nuts, man, because that was sort of the first real outing with Iced Earth, doing like a lot of shows in the States. So you were kind of like right there, experiencing the same things that I was experiencing touring the U.S. at that time. Because I hadn't really done anything really big in the U.S. like that, or touring in the and when I say big, it was not really big, because we were touring around in a van, I think, to start out with, right?
Oh yeah, it was a van. We were our own road crew. We'd set up all the amps, and we did all the setup ourselves.
Mm-hmm. All the getting the merch set up and all that shit, and selling T-shirts, and so, I mean, it's crazy to kind of think like how long ago that was, but obviously we both matured a bit. I'm not going to say aged. I'm going to say matured. So it's just kind of nuts looking back at it, man. And obviously you have a different career. Your path led you a different way. It certainly led me in another way as well. But I always held on to music as my love, and I'm assuming that you have as well.
Oh, 100%. It's in my heart. It's something that's always going to be a part of me, especially metal. I haven't played in a long time just because of life, my career that I have now. It takes up so much time. Like, for those that don't know, after Iced Earth, well, let me back up a little bit. Throughout my time in Iced Earth, I was going to college, but I would just take little classes here and there in between tours, at like the community college. And I think as we're getting close to the horror show era, I started my bachelor's degree in psychology. I knew I wanted to become a therapist. And then after Iced Earth, I went on, I got my master's in clinical counseling. And so that's what I do now. I'm a clinical counselor. So my day is pretty full. Like during the daytime, your typical 8 to 4. I'm at a psychiatric hospital, inpatient. And then in the evenings, I have my office where I'm at right now. And I'll be there till like 10 o'clock
Wow.
at night. So the days are a little long and I don't have much time to practice like I used to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I work 12-hour shifts, and I thought that was long, but sounds to me like you have a bit busier day than I do sometimes.
Sometimes, it's not always like that. Sometimes I get home a little bit earlier. So
If you
So
don't
what
want
kind-
to, if you don't want to go into your own office, you don't have to, right?
it's true. But I like it here. I like being here. I like helping people. That's actually
Nice.
why a big part of like music for me when I first started getting into music and heavy metal, and it was a place for me to go because I felt comfortable there. The songs spoke to me as they do to everybody else, but it was like the only place I can feel like myself. And then as I started learning how to play, excuse me, I need a water. But as I started learning how to play, started writing my own songs, I was really kind of creating a world with my music. My high school band, we were called Dreamscape. Um, Anyhow, I kind of learned that that was a therapeutic experience for me, and I wanted to continue doing that. Maybe not necessarily in a music form, but in another way. So that's how I kind of fell upon a counselor or a therapist.
Mhm.
So do you do you love what you do, being a counselor, therapist? Is it
It's
one of those?
exhausting.
Yeah.
It can be really tiring mentally, but I love doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
I plan on doing this until I can't anymore. So,
So do you get all kinds of people? Are people sent to you, and some people come and reach out to you? Like how does it work?
as far as my private practice, I'll get referrals from insurance companies. I have a couple profiles like on Psychology Today. Another one called, I think it's called Good Therapy, something like that. But yeah, there's profiles on there. People could find you using that, or other hospitals. I have friends at other hospitals near my office that also send referrals.
So what would you say? Like what takes someone to admit that they need help, but that they need to see a counselor?
So it's a hard question. I guess it's different for each person.
Yeah.
Uh, Usually get to a certain point in your life where you just can't handle it anymore. You can't take it anymore. Or people around you starts noticing a change, and they might convince a person to try talking to somebody.
Because I
Now,
know I've always been. Oh, sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Well, because I've always been kind of the macho kind of guy, like I can handle anything, but it's not true. But I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of people like that. I've always just wondered what drives them to say, I got to see somebody.
Yeah, sometimes in that instance, somebody who will say, I don't need to talk to anybody. I could deal it with myself. A lot of times it would be a family member, a spouse. Maybe they get in trouble legally and they're convinced to come in. But quite a few people recognize now that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. In my opinion, if you're mentally not healthy, I don't care how physically healthy you are, because it'll do you no good if mentally you're not at your best. Or
Yeah. And that's a interesting, you're talking about, getting into trouble legally or what have you, being referred to you. One of the things about, my particular career in law enforcement, we've in recent times in the last couple of years, there's been that obvious observation from everyone that there's oftentimes there's a mental health aspect to a lot of what we do, and that as far as the folks that we come in contact with, and so with that, we've actually have mental health clinicians that work directly with us in helping folks that may not be, that are kind of on that borderline of needing to be dealt with criminally, or is it psychological, as a mental health crisis that folks are having. So I think that that's an amazing tool, and I don't know if you have dealt with any law enforcement agencies or any health clinicians or any agencies in your area that have clinicians, or refer to you on that regard, but I don't know.
On the at the hospital, that happens a lot. People they're psychotic and they're wandering around, they're naked at a gas station and things like that, and the police will come by and do an assessment and then determine, hey, maybe this person actually needs to be at a hospital and not necessarily in a jail. So that happens quite a bit at the hospital.
Okay.
In terms of like the private side, they may recognize, hey, a coworker is in need of some kind of help, or a person does get into some kind of trouble. The courts may say counseling may be something beneficial for them. They may come in that route as well.
Have you ever dealt with anything that was pretty dangerous to you?
At the hospital, yes.
Yeah.
It's potentially dangerous all the time, because again, you'll get people who are very psychotic and they don't know what they're doing. It's almost like watching somebody living out some kind of weird dream or nightmare. So you may be, like me, myself, I might be seen as some sort of threat to them, even though I'm being very, very kind and courteous, and they may want to attack me or attack another staff. We've had staff members get hit in the face with telephones or chairs. I remember one time a guy, he grabbed a needle from a nurse and started to threaten to stab the other people there. All sorts of stuff. I mean, every day there's a potential for something bad to happen.
Well,
So we go through certain trainings. They call it CPI. It's like a crisis prevention intervention that teaches how to do certain kind of holds, physical holds that are that won't hurt a person, but will keep them from hurting others. And if they're not able to calm down, we do have to put people in restraints, physical restraints, like on their bed. So yeah, there's a potential. People have gotten hurt. Staff members have gotten pretty hurt. That's just part of the business, I guess.
yeah. Well,
How has being a huge Man-O-War fan helped you in this career? Because I know that you're a huge Man-O-War fan.
Back in the day, I was a super huge Man-O-War fan.
Yeah, you were like obsessive. Hey, Freddie, let me tell you, man, it was rough. It was rough being around Larry back then.
did he dress like Man-O-War?
He did not.
No.
No, actually, he didn't. Not at all. Not at all. Actually, he was very conservative in his dress, and we oftentimes had to hide his Cubs hat because he was
I should have brought it.
obsessive about wearing a Cubs hat.
Well,
There you go.
it's in my car. I should have brought it in with me. Yeah, I was always wearing a Cubs hat and a Man-O-War t-shirt.
Always. Yes, you were.
I don't know if Man-O-War's helped me. Some of their songs are very uplifting, like courage and valor and, fighting on till the end, that sort of thing. That can help.
Yeah,
Positive. Very positive.
Positive
Inspiration
stuff.
where we can get it.
So I don't know. We can edit this out if you don't want it to be told, but I think I've probably told Freddie this before because it was one of my fondest memories of touring with Larry. So so this one time we were touring around and we were going to I can't even remember what tour it was. I think maybe it was Something Wicked. But we were, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was for Something Wicked. And we were going to do a stint with Blind Guardian in
Oh no.
Spain. And
I
and so John had to fly to I think Japan to do press stuff. In the meantime, Century Media put us on a beat the street. It wasn't even a bus. It was like one, one of the like around here it's a dart bus, but it's like, one of those buses that they put, folks on to take them to Walmart,
Yeah.
that size, except they had converted it to like a sleeper. So there's like it's like 4 beds in there, I think, and then like a table, and then we had this guy that sounded exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you weren't looking at him, driving us across, so from Germany, Dortmund, through France, into Spain, all the way to Madrid, which I don't know if anybody knows. That's a long haul, right?
Yeah.
It took us, 3 days to get there, drive there?
Yeah, and we didn't have much food, I remember at the time.
No, but what we did have, lots of alcohol.
That is for sure.
So we drank way too much, and at one point, I'm pretty sure it was on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was on that one. I think Larry had so much to drink that he fell into a bush, and then came out without his glasses. So we were looking for his glasses, but yeah, that was an interesting experience for like three whole days, I think, drinking and yeah.
Yeah, I had to. Okay, this is embarrassing. I had to go to the bathroom, is what it was, and that bus didn't have a bathroom on it, so we stopped, and I was going to go into the bush, and I just fell over, and I think I was still going to the bathroom as I was laying on the ground, and yeah, the guys picked me up and brought me to the bus, and they were going to put me back into the bunk. And for those who are unfamiliar with sleeping on a bus, you sleep with your feet facing towards the front of the bus. And I was so out of it. I remember, I think it was you and Brent were like, no, you got to turn around. You got to turn around. So I'm spinning in a circle, not understanding, like, I got to put my feet towards the front of the bus. And that's when I realized, I think I said to Brent, I'm like, I can't find my glasses. And then that's when you guys found it in the bushes.
In the bush.
Oh, you found them in the pea bushes?
Yeah, possibly. It may have been wet. I don't know.
May have been. We took care of him though. It was because he was a young man, and we were a little older, and some of us more experienced. Certainly Jimmy and Brent probably a little even more experienced than I was at the time. But yeah, that was a trip, man. Hey, do you happen to recall? Because I keep remembering the story, and it was on the same trip, and it's crazy that sticks out to me, but it was just such a surreal trip. The whole thing just weird, but
yeah.
We had great fun, camaraderie and whatnot, but it was still just funny. But there was this place that we stopped at in Spain, and it was like in the desert, so it probably wasn't that far out of Madrid, but there was we just heard this weird noise at night, because we always stopped at night because the driver had to sleep. So we'd be up all night because we'd be sleeping all day when we're driving, and we're up all night because that's how that's the rock and roll, right? But there was this gas station, and we heard these weird noises. It's just like super freaky, like odd noise, almost mechanical in nature. But we went around, and this tree next to this gas station where this light was like moving, like the whole, like it was pitch black, except we could see the light from the gas station in this tree. Come to find out that the tree was entirely covered with bats.
I remember that.
You remember that? That
Yeah,
was just
and I remember
freaky,
like
man.
porcupines. Seeing porcupines at the gas station.
Yeah, yeah,
A porcupine. I've never seen anything like that. So that's
yeah,
pretty cool. That was cool.
yeah, yeah. It was
You're right.
just
It was very surreal.
yeah, just like the whole trip was surreal, but and it's probably slightly alcohol induced surrealism.
Too much
But
fun.
but yeah, too much alcohol, not enough food. But it is what it is, man, and it's funny because it just sticks out as one of the things in my mind, and I tell people about that all the time.
On that same stint, I remember we tried to stop at a restaurant, and they didn't have enough food to feed all of us, which I thought was weird. I've never been to a restaurant where they don't have enough food.
Yeah,
Everybody at the table. So that was different for me. Yeah.
yeah,
How did it work
because
that way?
because we come from the land of plenty, and it's just weird, you don't even think, but they only typically had enough food for like the locals there, so if somebody locally didn't happen to be eating or cooking their own dinner, they'd go out, and so they only planned for X amount of food, and it's just it's weird, man. It was like a totally different experience. That being said, I freaking love Spain. I mean, Spain is like it's amazing, and it's just in everything. I remember doing that tour, and it was like I thought that it was just like such a compact version of like the United States, that there's a desert in the center, Madrid and all that, and then Barcelona was beautiful next to the or Barcelona next to the Mediterranean, and then the northern part. Do you remember? I think that was like one of the last shows that we did. It was like in the north, and it was like really green and pretty, and just I don't even know what sea is up there, or what part of the ocean. But anyway, I just thought it was really cool because there were so many different vibes throughout the entire country.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, it was a beautiful country. I remember seeing a lot of billboards for bullfighting along the way on the road.
Yeah, yeah, stuff that you don't necessarily see here, right?
No, not
Yeah.
at all. I don't know.
Have you done any traveling like that since, Larry?
No, not at all. Not since the band days. I'm not a big traveler. I kind of like to stay in my little area. That's about it.
Just a hot
Yeah.
dog and a deep dish and you're good, huh?
You got it. Run it through the garden, as they say.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. One thing that we learned very, very quickly about Larry, or LT3 as we called him, because he's the third. He's the third in line there. He's very, very much a hometown guy. A whole lot of pride in Chicago, as
Right, Chicago.
Chicago.
Over
Right?
by there.
So I mean that's a very endearing quality about Larry, is that he was such a huge fan of his hometown, and that's cool. That's super cool. He said always representing with the Cubs hat and all that. And if I had one, I would have worn it today to
If I knew you
in
were
your
going to
honor.
bring it up, I would have worn it.
I probably would have busted out laughing, man, as soon as I saw you with it on. But yeah, man, that's very, very cool, man. And really, man, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of my life, dude, because it was really, really important. You're a really important part of that. And Heather sends you her best regards as well. So you were always one of her favorite people.
Oh, thank you guys. I loved hanging out with you guys. If you guys lived near me, I'd hang out with you guys all the time. Yeah, you and Heather are fantastic, and everybody that I had a chance to tour with, I really got along with well, and we were brothers in arms, and those are all special times, and everybody will always have a special place in my heart, and I'm always there for anybody whenever they need. I honor those times in our friendship.
Right on, man. Well, I would imagine whenever this video airs, probably people are going to say a lot of very kind things about you. Again, your contribution to Iced Earth and to, metal music in general, even though you're not living the life anymore. You are a big part of that and a big part of a lot of people's lives. So, kudos to you, man. That's that. And, obviously you're making a huge impact in what you're doing right now. I'm sure even more so than that, but for the metalheads out there, that you've really touched their hearts and been a part of their lives. So thank you, man, again, from them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's, a huge honor. You'd be surprised of how many metalheads come in to the office. It's kind of cool.
Well, now that they know that they're there too, maybe some folks will just stop by and see you too. So
That's true. And you never know, I may pick up the guitar and start trying to do something again. It's never too late.
Should.
Well, let us hear it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool. Pleasure meeting you. I mean, it's the first time I've ever spoken to you.
Oh,
So
you too, Freddie. Nice to meet you too, man. You seem like super cool. I've been watching, like I said, the other podcasts, and I'm like, man, Freddie's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Everybody you've had on is super cool.
Yeah, Freddie's another one that I know that you would get along with great, man. Freddie's kind of, we're I don't want to say simpatico.
I was going to say simpatico.
But yeah, so Freddie and I hit it off almost immediately when we first started touring, and obviously that turned into a friendship. So again, it's good to introduce friends, and friends with other friends. So right on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Larry, hey man, it's been great talking to you, brother.
You too.
If you need anything, reach out. If you're ever on the East Coast here, please stop by and let me know. You always have a place to stay.
Oh man, that's awesome to hear. And if you guys head out to Chicago, let me know.
Sounds
Will
good.
do, man.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself, man.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.